Yeah.
Incidentally, at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's not a whole lot of people out.
No, there isn't, is there?
Good driving.
Not a whole lot of people out.
Got you there right quick, didn't it? No traffic.
Yeah. But I was happy to see that our officer was actually awake in the car. That was good news.
Wasn't that good news? I'll be happy to hear that. Thank you. The chief will be
Simone,
happy.
how are you?
Hi, Rick.
Hello.
Hi, Simone. How are you?
Simone is with us.
Hi, Simone. Hello, Rick.
Hey, Hank, how are you?
Good. Rick, when are you coming home? Back down?
Right after the first.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Okay.
good, that's good.
Getting a little chilly up there for you, huh?
It's only 57 now. It's too
Oh.
chilly for me.
Oh,
57 degrees? That's not bad.
Yes. And that's warm from
I'll
where
trade
it
you
was.
half of what we have for half of what you have.
Yeah, true.
And we were commenting, Rick, who does your landscaping?
Gonzalez.
Yeah, it was really looking nice this year. I
Oh,
don't know
that's
if it-
good.
Yeah, we were driving by, we drove the neighborhood over the weekend and just commenting on your house. I saw Hank out, with a little spoon and some black dirt, making sure it's just exactly right around the tree.
Well, that must mean that, Hank, when you saw all that burnt grass, that's now gone away because I sent them a nasty note after you told me that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, yeah. Hand pluck that grass.
Yeah. There are eyes in the neighborhood at all times.
If you don't, it's funny how in off season, if you don't stay on them, it's sort of like they don't feel like they need to work as hard.
That's right.
We had the guys, we've got the plant well, we've changed to them, that was probably 6 months ago or so. And I've never worked with the group so attentive. I bet you they had 15 guys yesterday.
Wow.
They were probably here 2 hours yesterday with 15 guys.
So far, so good. I've got them in the room. Everything's going good. Did you want to get on the laptop or no? Okay, all right, then I'll call you if I need you, okay? Thank you so much, James. Bye.
Chauncey does not have the code. I'm sending it to him.
Oh, it's in the car, I believe.
Pardon me?
Hello,
Heck, if
Mr.
it's
Mayor.
not- Hello there, how are you?
Jack Doyle checking in.
Good job. We have Mr. Doyle with us, so we're just waiting on Stuart.
And Chauncey.
Oh,
I just sent
Chauncey.
Chauncey the code. He sent me a text indicating he didn't have the code.
Okay.
And I'll check with Stuart. I usually have to text him. Let me double check. I'll let you know about Stuart.
We have 1 minute here. Linda, the auditors are going to come in just for that section?
They'll just be
Okay.
about 15 minutes.
Okay.
I sent you their summary form.
Yeah, I've
About
got
nine
that. I
pages.
just didn't know if they're going to come in just at the,
Yep,
you're going to
yep.
dial them in at the right time?
Lisa's got them. They're going to be in the waiting room. And then she'll let them in when we're ready. And Stuart says he's logged on. So I'll see if Lisa's let him in yet. Let me go see. Okay, I'm back.
Stewart in and Mr.
Yeah, he
John.
wants to be let in. He just texted. Lisa just went back to her desk to let him in.
All right.
Hey
Stuart.
there,
How are
welcome.
you?
Hello.
Good to be here.
Okay, and we've got one more and we're ready to rock.
And Chauncey should be in soon. I gave him the, what's that? Why am
Here's
I-
Chauncey's coming in.
Okay, is he the telephone?
He's in.
Okay, all right, good.
Hey, Chauncey, how are you?
Hi.
Fantastic. Okay, it is 4:00, so I'll call to order the Town Commission meeting for Friday, September 18th, 2020 for the town of Manalapan. If you will, join me and we will have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United
of the
States
United States of America.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One
under
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with
and justice
liberty
for all.
and justice for all.
Should have turned the computer around. You could see.
Come
the
on, don't
flag
kill
I'm looking
yourself.
at. No, I have a flag to look at while we're doing
Come
that.
on, don't get hurt.
Yeah,
I know, that's what I just said. Don't hurt yourself there.
I gotta, if I'm gonna pledge, I gotta be standing up. Okay, we have the agenda for additions, deletions, anything, any changes at all, Linda?
No changes to the agenda.
Anyone? Okay. We will forego mayor's comments. We have the consent agenda. Everyone had a chance to go through the 4 items we have there. Any comments, any changes at all?
No.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda then.
You got a
Motion
motion?
to
moved.
approve.
Okay, let's have a motion. Give me one version.
Food Center.
Stuart Satter, we have a motion and a second.
Hank
No.
Cornell.
Short,
Who's second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Hank.
Okay, Hank for second. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Okay, we will go to the regular agenda, and then for this, Counselor, we need to go into quasi judicial.
You have the audit first. That's just a,
Yes, bad.
I'm sorry, the quasi judicial is for item 2, excuse me. So we have, the first item is the audit with Nolan, Holt, and Minor. If you want to dial them in, Linda, and we will,
Lisa will. She's.
or Lisa
she's
will
controlling
hear
everything.
we will hear the wonderful report.
Are you letting them in, Lisa? You're in the waiting room, right? I can't hear you.
Perfect.
Oh, there they are. No? Who's that? That's not them, Lisa.
Yeah, that's Ron down there on the bottom.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Very well. Thank you for
There
being
he
with us
is.
today.
The other picture.
Oh, appreciate the opportunity.
So,
Okay.
so I turn the meeting over to you for your report.
Me?
Ron,
Yes,
yes, you
please.
go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna share my presentation on the screen. Let's see if this works. So everyone can see it here. Can you
Oh
see
my
it?
God, it worked. Yes.
Hey,
Great.
Look at
Technology's
us.
great when it works.
We're not.
First off, I'd like to thank the town on behalf of Nolan Holt and Minor for allowing us to serve as your auditors for 2019. And I'd like to send a special thanks to the management and staff. As you probably already know, we had to do this audit remotely. So it made it a little more difficult on your people and our people, but it's a lot safer that way. And it looks like it might be the way for the foreseeable future. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'll launch into my presentation. First off, I've got a little summary here, financial highlights. Before I go into that, just one moment to say, you know, the report itself is actually a combination of multiple reports. There's an independent auditor's report where I'm glad to say we gave a clean opinion. That is on the financial statements. We say they're fairly stated based on our audit in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. There's a report on internal control and compliance. I'm going to leave these for for you to read. It would take more time than we have today. There's also a management letter required by the Auditor General of the State of Florida. There's a separate accountant's report on compliance with section 218.415 Florida statutes. That's the statute that governs the investments that a municipality can place their funds in. And I'm glad to say that we found the town was in compliance with that. If anyone has any questions later, feel free to call me. You know, I'm your auditor 365 days a year. I'm available at your beck and call by, I guess it's mostly by phone or Zoom now instead of in person, but it costs you an extra penny. Call me anytime. So with that, I'd like to go into the financial highlights. First page is the governmental revenues. These are the revenues for the general fund, the library fund, and another little small special revenue fund, but about 98, 99% of this is the general fund. What we have is a 5-year trend, and you see this year, things really jumped up. Revenues increased $1,325,564. That's 29.6% over the prior year. And it was essentially due to two things. One, the ad valorem taxes were up $538,000, and the fees and permits were up $763,000. At fees and permits, virtually all of that increase of that $763,000, almost $47,000 was building permits. Building permits jumped from $388,000 the year before to $1,135,000 in the current year. So on the revenue side, you kind of had a windfall there from the fees and permits that you probably weren't expecting, but you were expecting the ad valorem. Next page is, you can just see this, you know, in a picture. I personally like to look at these. It kind of shows me what's going on. The ad valorem tax is the blue down at the bottom. The fees and permits is the pale greenish yellow here, and you can see those two comprise most of the revenues. See how much that the fees and permits increase, and again we had an increase in the ad valorem taxes. Next chart is the expenditures. Revenues was the money coming in, the expenditures, the money going out. And what we have here is a similar increase. We have an increase of $869,000. That's 21.6%. And the increase was essentially due to two things: public safety and capital outlay. On the public safety, there was one large item. The security guard contract was about $138,000, I think, that you didn't have before. And the rest of it was just small increases in a lot of line items. And in the capital outlay, it increased $302,000. That's essentially a 100% increase. Went from 313 to 615. Most of that was due to two projects: the town hall renovation, two of them on the what's the name of that?
Chambers? And the dispatch center.
It was the chamber renovation and a new dispatch center.
Right.
About $209,000 in the chamber renovation, about $125,000 in the new dispatch center, for a total of $334,000. By the way, I gave you the wrong number on that security guard contract. It was $148,000, not $130 something. So again, we have a 21%, a little over a 21% increase due to the factors we just talked about. Now, the town has three kinds of funds: governmental funds, the general fund being the general fund, the library fund, and there's another small special revenue fund, are governmental fund types. The second fund type is the enterprise fund. That's the water fund, water and sewer utility. And this year you have a brand new fund type that we're not going to talk much about. We don't have any numbers on it. That's the fiduciary fund, which is a pension trust fund. Effective January 1/19, created a new pension. So that doesn't show up here because it's not really the town's money. That money belongs to the employees. So we don't really talk much about it. What shows up in here is, in these expenditures, are pension contributions. So it shows up kind of indirectly. Again, the governmental expenditures, the picture to go along with the numbers, you can see again that public safety is by far the largest portion of your expenditures, a significant increase. We actually have a pie chart here that shows those expenditures. The blue area at the bottom, the 68.3%, is public safety. General government is the red to orange color. That's another almost 14%. So you're up to 82%, 12% for capital outlay, and everything else is kind of down in the noise level. It's fairly typical of small governments. Public safety usually is well over half the expenditures, with general government having a nice little chunk itself. The residual, after you have your revenue minus your expenses, you come up with net income. And when you go to the balance sheet, which is your assets and liabilities, the residual of those assets and liabilities is the equity. And in governmental funds, it's called fund balance. And what you have here is a 5-year comparison trend of the fund balance of the general fund. And there are 5 different categories that this fund balance can be assigned to. And they go from the best to the worst, with the best being at the top. Unassigned, I say best because those are the funds that are available for use at the discretion of the council. You can spend them for any lawful purpose. Assigned is funds that the council, the commission has earmarked for a specific purpose. Restricted funds are funds that are earmarked for specific purposes outside the control of municipality. You can't change those restrictions. You can only spend the money in accord with it. Assigned, you only have one small amount of that, $33,600, but you could change that assignment if you saw fit to. The town has a little over 3.25 million in unassigned. And I compared that to the general fund expenditures for the year, and that's almost 68%. What that means is you have a little over 2/3 of a year of expenditures setting and available resources. If you didn't get any money for 9 months, you'd have almost 9 months. You'd have enough money to pay for it, which is very good. You never know when you're going to get a hurricane where we live, and there's about 7 tropical disturbances roving the oceans even as we speak now. So I personally think that that's a good place to be. You've got a nice cushion there. Next chart is just again a visual of that fund balance. You can see most of it's assigned and restricted being the next component, with blue being the favorable kind. As I spoke about before, the second type of fund is a proprietary fund. This is your water and sewer fund, and we have a 5-year trend on the income statement here. And it was a very good year. In the prior year, you actually had a loss of $224,000. Most of that was due to a one-time loss on disposal of assets because of a change in your accounting policy. The thing to focus on probably more than the bottom line, which you see down here, the change in net position, that's what they call it in governmental. Well, that's your net income or loss. Your operating income is from the ongoing operations. You had about 600,000, 597,000 income there last year, 643,000 this year. That's a $45,000 increase, which is good. The interest income is small, which is what you'd expect. The interest expense is on your debt, and you can see this gain or loss on disposal of assets. It bounces around. You're not going to see that 680 again. So the bottom line was you had a $445,000 net income, which is good.
Yes.
And that's all the numbers I have. I'd certainly be able to answer any questions.
Any extraordinary items at all?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Any extraordinary items that you need to call to our attention?
No, the only thing that was kind of out of the ordinary this year was the creation of the pension fund.
Okay, thank you.
Based on everything that I'd said, and I went through this with the comb, and I know Linda did as well. I'm hoping everybody did, but this is we are in an extraordinarily strong position for the size budget we have. Correct me if I'm wrong, Linda, but I think we have the same size reserve as Delray Beach. Or is that correct?
I'm not sure about Delray Beach. I know ours is In the past, Ron has talked to us about having our unassigned fund balance that with being a barrier island to have it at a minimum of 50%.
50%, that's where we normally try to keep it.
Anything between 50 and 60, he felt was a good place to be. Is that not correct, Ron?
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing to focus on that is not only the percentage, but the dollar amount. And your dollar amount's $3.2 million. You got to think in terms of, well, if we have a category 3 or 4 storm or a 5, or, how much money would it take? You can do a lot of repairs for $3.2 million.
Well, you need that money there because it takes forever to get money from FEMA. So
Uh,
We're just talking about
something in the-
filling the gap, yeah.
yes.
Case in point, in 2019, you got, I think it's $63,000 and change from FEMA from a hurricane that came, was it 2017, I think it was?
Yes, I just got money from, who did I get it from? Matthew. I just got some money from Matthew, and Matthew was in 16.
16.
16, yeah.
If
So
you're
it takes-
expecting FEMA to bail you out, they may eventually do it, but 3 or 4 years later before you get it. So you need money right away, and the town's in good shape in that regard.
Okay, very, very good. Are there any other questions or any thoughts from anyone?
We need a motion for them to approve the,
So we,
Financial, right?
Counselor, we need a motion then to approve the audit and accept that.
So moved.
Yeah, it's
All right.
ministerial, but yes, sir.
So I've got the motion from
Jack.
Commissioner.
I'll second it.
And we've got that second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, listen, thanks so much. Great job, as always. We appreciate you. The depth and the clarity with which you provide the information is very helpful to us.
Thank
And
you,
I'd
sir.
like
I
to thank them.
appreciate
It was a tough year with the COVID, trying to
Yeah.
coordinate everything. And they really worked well with us and did their best. So I appreciate the help that they gave us.
Thank you.
All right, Ron, thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Okay, so on agenda item number 2 now, we will go to the asterisk and go into quasi judicial. Counselor.
Yeah, I need to know who's going to be testifying and putting testimony on the record so I can swear them in.
John Moore, can you hear us?
Yes.
This is John Moore, the architect for the
There he
beach.
is.
Yeah.
All
can
right,
you-
I can see you, Mr. Moore. If you could raise your right hand. You swear or affirm under penalties of perjury, your testimony that the town commission will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you, sir. Will anybody else be testifying, either on the town staff side or anyone else for the applicant,
Well,
Is
you
that
might
it?
as well do me,
just in case?
just in case.
Swear or affirm under penalties of perjury, your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. And then to commissioners, if any of you have had any ex parte discussions regarding this item, those would need to be disclosed on the record at this time.
None.
None.
All right, hearing none, Mayor, then we can proceed with the item.
Okay, do you want to, Linda, you want to walk us through this then?
Actually, what we would do now is we would have the applicant make a short presentation to you about what they're doing. And then we'll have a discussion afterwards. Mr. Moore.
Okay, so we turn, Mr. Moore, we turn it over to you.
Yes, we're proposing a 1-story, 932 square foot beach cabana. It will be in a similar style, Mediterranean style to the residence, which is just to the west. It'll have a clay barrel tile roof to match the existing house, smooth stucco finish on the walls. They will have stone detailing where shown, and it's pretty straightforward. I can answer any questions. And that's it. It's the main cabana room, the beach cabana with a small bath and a reading room. And the total square footage is 932 square feet.
Linda, from the town, I didn't see anything, there's nothing out of the ordinary. This is all within the range of what we typically do.
Right, it meets code. And we
There's no
have,
variances required that we require here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there any additional information we need to know about or?
No, I can tell you that we didn't get any comments from any of the neighbors.
Okay, so no public comment, any comments from the commissioners at all?
No.
Okay, so you've had a chance to review this. It's pretty straightforward. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, Hank, Hank, you're muted for some reason.
Sorry about that.
There you go. I saw you waving your hand, but I couldn't hear your voice. Okay, and Stuart, yeah, you are as well. So I'll entertain a motion again. I'm sorry.
I'll make the motion to approve.
So Hank, we got the motion. Simone, we've got a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, Mr. Moore, the shortest meeting of your entire lifetime.
Yes.
Thank you for providing good work and for making it easy. We appreciate it. And look forward to that new version when it's up and ready to go. Item number 3, the extension, we've got a permit extension for 1460. Linda, you want to give us a quick rundown on that one?
Yes.
They're letting us in. All right, they're letting us in. Call in. They're letting us in.
Oh, hold on, tell them to stop talking. All right, permit 7892 was issued in September 28th of 18. Our permits, as you all know, are valid for 24 months. Per section 15241, a written application for an extension has to be received within 30 days, and the applicant did do that. You have their letter that they are requesting 24 months. According to our code, it's 18 months that the commission can do an extension, and you also have the ability to condition that extension if there's something you'd like for them to do, along with giving them an extension or not. I did provide you some history on extensions that have been previously issued for Hometown Ocean and Land's End. Also, I sent you comments that were made by 2 neighbors who have been impacted by this construction. So you have that with their concerns about the extension and the impact that it has on their properties. So right now, we'd probably want to hear from the representative, and then you all can ask them some questions or make any comments about what you'd like to see happen if, in fact, you do grant the extension.
So let's start with that. Let's hear from the representative first, and then we'll, I have several questions, and let's see if we can pursue this in an orderly fashion, okay?
Mr. Little, are you representing 1460 South Ocean?
No, ma'am, I'm not. Mr. Rafferty is. He's the manager of the company that owns the property.
I don't see him in yet. I have Javier. And then I do have a number that ends in 2973. Is that Mr. Rafferty?
This is Javier with Coastal Construction, also on the project. And I was just on the phone with Rafferty. He was trying to call in. He called in. He hadn't been let in, so he was trying to call back.
Do you
Do
happen
you
to
know
know?
what the last 4 digits of his number are?
Very inclusive group.
Mr. Rafferty?
For the record, I'm the owner's representative. I work directly for the owner, but I'm not part of the ownership of the property.
Okay, we have someone on whose number ends in 2973.
Okay, I just found another one to admit.
There we go. There's a 305.
305. Is that Mr. Rafferty?
It is.
Perfect. Okay.
Mr. Rafferty, this
Ready
is
for you
Mayor
to present.
Waters. What we are doing is we're just at the point where we'd just like to have comment and have you as a group and everyone sort of talk to us about the extension request and give your comments, and then we have some questions and just need to get some additional information.
Okay, thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it, and hope everybody's well in these difficult times. Are the coastal folks on the line?
Yes, Bill, this is Javier. I'm here.
I'm
Okay,
also,
great.
I'm online. Tom Little's online.
Okay, fantastic. It's a major project, really, and one that we've been working diligently with the town and Coastal and the great group we have assembled with Affinity Architects and the engineers, and looking forward to a great conclusion of the project. It's taken a little longer than maybe the town would have wanted, but it's not it's a pretty significant project, and I think Coastal and the Coastal team, great job by them, and we have Tom Little from Little and Associates. I'm not sure Tom's on the line or not, but we're just experiencing some delays because of changes, because of the scope of the project. But things are going along swimmingly, and I think obviously my client wants this to be done, soon, and we're asking for your consideration for an extension so we can get it done and make it a beautiful project for the town of Manalapan. And I think that will happen. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the Coastal guys, and they can kind of explain to you what some of the things that are changing that have caused some delays, and hopefully with your blessings it will move forward and get it done. Guys, take over.
Yep. Hey, everyone. This is Javier Lasaga with Coastal Construction. Just to kind of add to what Bill was saying. So give you an update on the construction itself. There was some changes, not some changes, considerable amount of changes to the interior design of the project. A new interior designer was brought on board. We are now close to having that design wrapped up, to receiving that design from the design team, and we'll put that out for pricing. But I just want to make it clear that construction of the house has proceeded from day one. You drive by here, we've been working on the exterior of the home, working on stucco now. We'll have the exterior stone cladding done by early next year, maybe February completed. So the exteriors is moving, and I know that's some of the concerns that, the neighbors may have expressed, maybe with some dust control. And again, we're trying to stay on top of that. So that's the main reason for the request itself was it's due to the interior changes, if that answers your initial question, I guess.
So I'll jump in and then let's have a conversation. Let's do a good presentation and back. So you've had a 2-year window. Let me tell you what my initial thought is. I'll let the commissioners jump in if they want to. 2 years is a long time to be where you are on that house. That's a beautiful house. It's going to be a great house, but there's not a lot been going on the last few months. That house we've had issues with it. We've had numerous complaints. We've had numerous times where the town's had to get involved. I typically don't like to do that. We don't like to tie up our town staff having to deal with the things we already approved. We've spent a lot of time on this house for some reason. So that's been a point of concern for us. We've had other neighbors where we've had, fortunately it's a neighborhood and we are all sort of family here, but we've actually had damage at other homes from the sand piles and different things that were going on. That was taken care of. I was concerned that there was and correct me or tell me, Linda or Lisa, there was a window of time between the pulling of the permit and the ARCOM and actual construction, and it just seemed like it was a long time for it to get going. Am I correct with that, or?
Right, the approval from ARCOM was the end of 17, and the permit was pulled in September of 18. So it was about 9 months from the time that they received approval, and that was dealing with issues that they had with the construction and getting everything lined up. But
So-
I'm with you, Mayor. We haven't seen a lot of activity for the last few months on the project.
So here's what typically happens, and all of you, I don't know if everybody gets the phone calls, but I know Linda does, and I know I do, okay? So what happens is the phone rings, and it's somebody that lives in the community, and they live within eyesight of the project, and they want to know why no one's over there working, or why there's only 2 or 3 people over there working, or why the sand is not covered, or why the fence is not up, or why, things are growing out front. And we have to answer those questions and get in touch with you. So, when you're asking for an extension of 2 years, for me, that's not acceptable to even consider a 2-year extension. I'm happy I would like to suggest or entertain, we'll offer an extension, and I'll throw this out to the commission. I'd like to, we'll offer a 90-day extension on the current permit as an offer to see what's happening in 90 days, to give a proof that you guys are in fact moving forward, because there's not been a lot going on. We have a house, I'm looking across the water right now at a beautiful new house that, a year and a half ago was a piece of dirt. And it's almost finished. So, it's not, if it's COVID, I get you.
WB Construction, that's why.
Yeah, so, I mean, there are a million things going on, but one of the things we need for you to focus on is, whether the closet interior is going to be clad in gold. I don't care, but I do care what the outside of the house looks like. And 2 years is plenty of time for you to have gotten that house under roof. So we need for you guys, we want to work with you. We don't want to be punitive in any way, shape, or form. We try to work with everybody because we're all neighbors. But I'm not prepared to offer or present or endorse, and I'll have to yield to the commission. But I'm not willing to offer 2 years just as an open extension on this. I'm willing to do it in small increments. Show us that you guys are genuine about doing this, and we'll work with you every step of the way. But we need to do it in smaller increments as far as I'm concerned. And I'll push that back to the commissioners.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Jack Doyle. I second your sentiments. I can tell you, as you know, that, I've been living next to a construction situation that's been going on for 3 years plus.
Well, I believe I was in high school when that started, Jack. So.
Well, I don't know that I was in high school, and you're, a younger and much more attractive guy than I am, but I had hair.
I'll second that.
And, these requests, in my view, for multi-year extensions are beyond the pale. And, we should hand out extensions very, very gingerly, because they're given ample time to finish these projects. And having undertaken one myself when I first moved to Manalapan, the jobs are doable if the owners and the contractors, get to the whip right out of the gate. So I'm fully in favor of a 90-day extension, and let's see where it goes from there.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
In the past, when there have been extensions granted and we've had sites that were uncompleted and looked like they were completely under construction. And what we've done, or what the commission has done in the past, is giving the contractor and the owner a short window of time to get the exterior together, so that there was sod, there was landscaping out in the front, so that the building looked complete. Then they worked on the interior, and when they had to do the pool, then they had to tear up the sod and what was going on. Then they put in the driveway after that. So we had 3 of them that's how they've handled it, so that the problem with the sand and the dust that blows all over the place was handled by having the exterior of the property look completed.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And the specific homes we're talking about, are nice homes, but this is a complicated project, and I recognize that. It's a much more complicated house. That being said, in 2 years, we should at least be at the point where we're putting trees in the ground and grass on the dirt. So, I'm perfectly willing to entertain, and I would suggest that we would entertain, let's take this in little bite sizes. I would essentially defer this by granting a 90-day extension, and we'll defer it to 3 meetings from now. And then let's take a look at where we are 3 meetings from now. And based on that, and based on what I'm sure will be, and I say this with great enthusiasm, what I'm sure will be visible evidence that things are moving forward, and that there's a progress, on the site, we'll relook at it, and then let's talk about whether we need another 3 months or another 6 months or whatever it may be. But right now, I'm not prepared to hand out 2 years. That's too much time. And that just allows, for all we know, 2 years from now, we're going to be sitting here having the exact same conversation. So I need proof of capacity. So
If we're going to go
Mayor,
up
is there-
90 days on this, we should have some milestones we're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically that, all the disturbed ground around the lot in the open areas really needs to be stabilized using either grass or shrub or some other ground cover in the interim measure. And then anything that's from the wall to South Ocean, maybe across the street over near the dock, should also be brought to at least a level of substantial completion on the landscaping. So it has the appearance that there's progress and it's cleaned up for the neighbors and the rest of the town. And what happens on site, it can be a stabilized mix of grass or what have you, but at least it stops the dust from blowing. And then also to require that all the construction be picked up every day, daily, and properly disposed of. So, because if the work is truly.
Rick, do me one favor. Go back one more time. One more time. You broke up a little bit. I want to make sure we're clear on that. And also with the construction,
Great.
you should have.
Construction debris be picked up every day, so it's neat and clean on the site. And
Okay.
then if it's truly just the interior, then at least the house will look like there's progress, and it'll mitigate all of the dust and blowing debris that the neighbors have had problems with over the last 2 years. And they can focus on finishing the interior of the house. And then at least that's a set of steps we can gauge whether they're being responsive within the next 90 days. Because it wouldn't be based on their construction, but mainly on sort of site tidiness and cleaning it up.
I'm in total agreement with you. Is it?
Yeah,
are we-
I think that, go ahead, Mayor.
No, please. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that obviously at the minimum, they need to comply with whatever regulations we have for site management, so the neighbors are not impacted negatively during their delay. I mean, that's the minimum. So are they not complying with site maintenance?
No, and the pictures that we sent you this morning reflect the site.
Right, so I mean, at the minimum, they need to comply with site maintenance, and if they have a delay, that's one thing, but during their delay, other neighbors in the town should not be impacted by improper site maintenance.
The letters that.
Javi, what do you
received-
think about this conversation?
Excuse me, the letters that we received, Linda, that you sent us, were these the only two that were actually in writing, or were there verbal situations that came up about the problems here?
The owners that wrote also have given verbal complaints. Those were the only two we received. They were the two most impacted. One is the.
I've actually had a number of conversations with people, different neighbors, not the two that wrote the letters, but different people all along that corridor, and different folks in the community who drive by, and I'll say a dozen plus residents who've asked the question, what's going on with that house? Is that being finished, or is it abandoned, or what's going on? Because it just doesn't seem to have been any movement. It's the same. We've had that same thing with another house, which we dealt with a couple of months ago.
Well, it's not being abandoned, and it's being worked on by one of the finest builders in South Florida.
No question about it. And
But,
What
but
we need to
here's
do,
here's my
though,
question for you. We're still in the midst of hurricane season, and you really want them to be tied down to a 90-day window? I think that's unreasonable.
well, let me ask you a question. 2 years ago, when you gave me the permit, did you not think you could build this in 2 years?
And let me respond to that. This is Tom Little.
Yeah.
Yes, we thought that we could build that within 2 years. That was never an issue. What had transpired since we started this project, the owner had engaged an interior designer who also was involved in input to the exterior of the house, landscaping, et cetera, et cetera. That interior designer at the owner's request was changed, and the owner brought in a new interior design firm, which is also involved in the exterior applications of a lot of materials that are going on around the house. So with that change in designers, that the net effect of that was that forced us to go back to the drawing board and come up with new interiors that will work for the client. Also affected by that was some of the landscaping and exterior design. We've had to go back before ARCOM for supplemental approvals for certain things related to the exterior. So that's what was driving the fact that, what is driving the fact right now that we are asking for this extension. I respect where you're coming from and saying, let's give them 90 days to see what they can do. I understand and respect that. But to turn around and try and finish the exterior of that property in 90 days is an unreasonable.
Well, that's not what we're asking.
Yeah, I don't think that, yeah, I don't think they're asking.
I want to be really clear. That's not what we're asking.
I know what you're asking. If I could expand upon that.
Very specific. I want to be very specific. We're asking you to stay within the code, the building code of the town of Manalapan. You haven't been doing that. You haven't been keeping the property the way it's supposed to be kept. You haven't been keeping the grounds the way they're supposed to be kept. You haven't been cleaning up the debris that's supposed to be cleaned up. That's really simple. Has nothing to do with interior designers or changes of light fixtures or anything else. It's very specific. What I'm trying to say is we want to work with you. If you want to work with us, love to do it. If you don't, then the permit ends and then we'll let you come back and do another
want to work
permit.
with the town. I was just trying to explain to you the circumstances which drove up to that.
And
And the
I get it.
cleanliness of the
We've all
site,
done
I
this.
agree with you. The cleanliness of the site is the contractor's responsibility and it must be adhered to. I couldn't agree with you more.
Good.
And,
So we're in agreement on that one.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And
So you've got 90 days to show us that's going to be adhered to. And then I'd like to, within that window of time, see that you guys are adhering to what you were supposed to be doing. We need to get the site cleaned up. That gives you 90 days to put together a plan and come back to us. We're giving you a window of time. We're basically giving you a grace period beyond the permit to get the place into shape and come back to us and let us see what you're doing. And I want to see a show of good faith. I know it sounds crazy, and I know it's the greatest house that's ever going to be built ever in America. But right now, it sure doesn't look like it, and it's not commensurate with our community. And we've got neighbors who have the greatest homes that have ever been built in America that are living right next door, and they, all around, and they don't want to see that ongoing for 2 more years.
Yeah, I think it's totally unreasonable the neighbors are impacted with the lack of cleanliness on the site. And at the minimum, as I said before, you need to comply with the proper site maintenance and do it immediately.
that we will adhere to with no problem whatsoever. We will put together a plan. We will make sure that that property is within the code requirements and cleanliness and everything else associated with construction. And we'll come back with a plan in 90 days, and you'll see some effort. That's what we're trying to do to get this thing done. Our intent is to finish the project. But we are being hamstrung in certain areas by, it could be material delivery, it could be delays in getting personnel, et cetera, but we will make every effort to make sure that site is clean and there's no issues with the neighbors as we go forward.
So understood. So what we're saying is, and I just want to make sure we are all clear, and remind me, I'm sorry, area code 305, ends in 1180.
That's Mr. Rafferty.
Yes, sir. I'm on the phone.
I'm sorry, your name again?
The attorney.
William Rafferty Jr.
Rafferty, I'm sorry. I couldn't get the last name. And are you with Gunster?
Yes.
I am with Gunster, sir.
Rafferty,
Yes,
okay.
and middle initial is L. If you
Yeah,
wanted to make it.
I've heard that, I couldn't hear the last part of the name a couple of times. So in the process and representing, going back to your client, what I want to make sure that you're clear with your client is, no one's trying to stop anything. No one's trying to stand in the way, but you guys are going to have to work with us. You know, our job is to empower you to do this, but you've got to do what you're supposed to do. And the site has become an issue.
I don't think I'm hearing any argument from Coastal or Tom Little, our project manager.
So we're in
To the
agreement.
contrary, I think we all want to make Manalapan the beautiful community that it is,
Make
and
Manalapan great again.
improve it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to, what we need then, Counselor.
But I would only ask you, sir.
Yes,
is,
sir.
You see these storms churning out in the Atlantic and the Gulf and wherever. I mean, isn't 90 days a little bit tight? I mean, we're going to try to do the best we can, and I would defer
That's all we're asking
to
for.
you know.
That's all we're asking you to do. I'm giving you 90 days to show me that you're genuine about getting this thing done. Okay? If there's a hurricane in the middle of it, we're not going to hold that against you.
Mayor, I'm a little confused.
Say it one more time, Stuart.
Mayor, I'm a little confused and I apologize. Are we asking Coastal to maintain the site and show good faith in the site maintenance within 90 days?
I want to see movement at the construction of the house.
Right, all right, but
Javier, what do you think about 90 days versus 120?
Well, so in reasonably speaking, in the next 90 days, our construction schedule shows us, sorry about that, shows us completing the stucco on the exterior. So all that scaffolding that we currently see on the front of the house will be down. The stone cladding has been released, but in all honesty, we're expecting to receive that late November, beginning of December, possibly. Once it arrives on site, obviously we'll jump on the installation, and we can even start with the front facade of the home, to just for the curb appeal. But the reality is that completion of the stone cladding, it's more like a February date.
So you really need 180 days and not 90.
Yeah, I mean, in the next 90 days, like I said, construction-wise, we're going to see stucco, and then to your point, or to the point of dust control, we've got rock throughout 80% of the job site now, crushed rock down. The north side, we had access because we added the pool in the backyard, so we hadn't put any ground cover down yet, but we will, just to comply with obviously the town's code. But we maintain the fence, we maintain the privacy screening, so I'm not quite sure what we're not in compliance with, other than definitely we've got a dirt road on the north side that needs some ground cover.
Tom, what do you think? Is
Mr. Rafferty,
it 120 days? Is it 180 days? What do we need to ask right now?
I'm going to actually have our town manager answer the question he just asked.
As far as whether the property and the fence has all been.
And what else aren't we not doing except?
It has not been maintained. We've had to have our code enforcement over there because it's overgrown with grass. The side where the dock is, we've had issues with. The property is just not being maintained well. It doesn't meet our minimum standards even for that. So we shouldn't have to go follow them around and have the grass cut. It's just maintain your site.
Okay, understood. Yeah, and like Tom said before, that's our full intention, is to maintain the job site. Yes, so definitely.
But it hasn't been done at this point.
So that at the end of the day, what my intent, and my intent is generous. I mean, on behalf of the town, not me. The intent is generous to provide you 90 days instead of saying we're not going to give you another permit and you're going to have to reapply. I would love for you to have 90 days to come in compliance, to show whatever things are going on so that we see movement and that community and neighbors see movement, so that in 90 days when we come back and sit together, we can come up with a reasonable completion time frame that is not too long and it's not too short, but gives you guys enough time to finish the thing. But I need to see between now and 90 days from now, a difference than what has happened in the last 6 months. And
Mayor-
that's just that simple.
Mayor, just one thing about the 90 days. We won't have, our December meeting will fall before that. So maybe it's better to say for the January meeting, they have to come into compliance because 90 days takes us to December.
Does anybody have any problem, do anybody have any problem with pushing this to the January meeting?
No,
January 26th,
January
January
26th.
25th,
26th.
right?
26th, January
So
26th.
that
That
actually
puts them
moves,
another 30 days.
Yeah, it's
so it
getting.
moves it up to
they're gonna ask for
120
30
days by default, 100 and
Merry
something,
Christmas.
okay?
Merry Christmas.
And the bottom line is, and I want to make sure we're all coming back to the same thing. Everybody on this call wants the exact same thing. Everybody wants the same thing, including the owner who is not here, but's being represented. We all want the same thing. We want this beautiful home.
That's
on the-
correct.
Okay, so we're all going to work toward that. But the thing is, you guys have to work with us in a better version.
We will.
Okay?
We will.
And I know that's true. And
By giving them-
in January, we're gonna have, it'll be like old friends getting together, talking about, how great the house is. Okay?
By
I
moving
need-
it,
Counselor, I need a question for Counselor. Do we need to make a motion on this, I'm assuming, correct?
Can I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, Johnson.
Can I,
Yeah, I just want to ask about the neighbors who've already written. Is there some way that there can be a communication from the builders or whoever's there to let them know a little bit more about what's going on rather than having a channel through us?
Tom, Javi,
if I'm
can
wrong,
we just reach out to
We've reached out to the North.
Navaliers
and
and
South Neighbors.
and anybody else who's expressing concern, and just give them some comfort that we're moving forward, working with the town, and that I think we're all moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an issue.
I would
It's
say
just,
that if you're moving forward, the people that have complained or made comments regarding it, they'll see some activity. And by having until January, there should be more activity that we see by the time you come back to January, because it's
well,
not.
I think that's fair. Tom,
Yeah,
Javi, what do you
that's fair.
think? We're saying January
We appreciate that.
26th
That's
is the
fair.
next meeting.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
What is
Yeah,
the
Tom,
potential?
is that okay?
What is the potential for meeting some of the points that were made in those letters with regards to the fact that lights are left on and?
Yeah, so I can actually speak of that, and we hadn't seen that. It might be a new letter, but we hadn't seen that letter until late yesterday. But so the key points to that letter were dust control, which I like I said, with the exception of the north side, which we will address. They were talking. You were right. They were talking about a light fixture that's left on. It's an exterior security light fixture that's for our trailer. But we have since this morning we took the bulb out, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Or just shield it, either way, it doesn't matter, just make it shine
Yeah,
down.
no,
instead of out.
it's off. The dock, I mean, we have no trespassing signs. We've got boards up, and I'm assuming on weekends, the complaint is that people, I don't know who it is, people sit on the dock. They're saying they eat on the dock, but again, those are people that are trespassing. I'm not sure, short of the signs that we have up, I'm not sure what else we can do there. And I think that was it from the neighbor across the waterway. Those are the highlights of their complaint. And they said they want to see progress on the exterior. They understand that there was a holdup on the interior, so which is what we've talked about already. And that's the intent, to finish the exterior first.
It looks like the dock is fairly well completed. Would it be possible to landscape that area?
We've got a road cut that we've got to do with FDOT leading into it. We've got some tree relocations. I'm thinking out loud here. I don't see why not. It's something we need to talk to the client about, some remobilization items, but I don't see why not.
I will
Let-
sit
let-
down and
let-
work
let's-
with
let's try to
the
keep-
contractor and we'll come up with a plan.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you guys don't mind, I mean, the sort of eye on the ball is, I think we've come to an agreement.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, you guys are you're gonna hustle for the next 120 days. We're gonna have a meeting in January. We're gonna reassess this, and then we're gonna move forward.
Agreed.
Tom, Javi, any issues with, I think that's 120 days to reassess where we're at. I think that's, a fair proposal.
That's fair and reasonable. I think we won't have any issues with that. We'll make sure that what needs to get done will get done.
Okay.
Yep,
Counting on you guys to do that. All right, so I need, Counselor, I need a motion, correct?
So based on what I've heard, the motion, it seems to me would be that today, the town commission agrees to extend the building permit to January 21st of 2021 on the condition that the applicant gets the site maintenance issues into compliance immediately, shows good faith forward progress on exterior construction, addresses the specific issues raised in the neighbor's letter regarding dust control and exterior construction site lighting. And then based on what the town commission sees on January 25th, it may or may not grant additional permit extensions.
Javi, Tom, are you guys okay with that?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what we discussed.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay.
Okay. And
So I
please
think
call
the
me,
bigger question is-
Bill
is,
Rafferty at 305-322-1180 if there's any issues, but I think we're all in agreement.
I think the bigger question is the mayor and commission, did I state the motion correctly?
Yes.
That's the question.
Yes. I feel comfortable with that. Everyone okay?
Yes,
Yes.
sounds good.
And if we could have a motion and a second and a vote.
So I'll entertain the motion then.
I'll make a motion.
So we got the motion. We've got the second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, so we are counting on you guys. Do your stuff. We'll help you every possible way we can help you. But you gotta carry your end of the log, okay?
We will.
All right,
Yes, sir.
good deal. All right, thank you.
Thank you
folks.
so much
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
consideration. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it. And call me at any time. Call Tom, call Javi at Coastal, and we're going to make this happen.
Absolutely.
My client wants to be a good neighbor.
No doubt in my mind. And we're looking forward to the full tour when it's finished, okay?
You bet.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thanks so much. We
Happy
appreciate your
holidays,
time.
guys. And
You as well.
hopefully next time we talk in January, this deal is no longer an issue.
Well, yeah,
It won't be.
it can't be.
We're all hoping that.
It won't be.
Thank you,
I mean,
folks.
I think that's our collective goal. We don't want to be, bothering you guys and taking up your valuable time at the commission and the mayor's level, and and Coastal, it will always do a great job, and Tom Little is fantastic. And
I'm a Marine veteran, so I'm on a mission. We'll get it done.
I'm on a mission. I like that.
Semper
All
all
right,
right,
Coastal-
All right, we're
Coastal-
gonna-
we'll
gonna
make
dial
it
you
happen.
out.
And
We're gonna dial you out.
and
We're gonna
any-
move on to another item on the agenda here. Thanks,
okay.
guys.
Well, thanks again so much. Have a great Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Hanukkah, and we'll talk to you guys in January. And hopefully then you say like, all right, well, you did what you said you're going to do.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we're on to town manager's stumps report, and you've got 2 minutes, or do you want to
I was
wait?
gonna say, you're not gonna be able to get through it in 2 minutes.
All
I'll
right, so
start and then we can.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna adjourn the town commission meeting for Friday, September the 18th, 2020. I'm gonna call this an adjournment. We're gonna take 2 minutes exactly to go do whatever you can do in 2 minutes.
I was gonna say, I can start, but we'll have to stop in the middle.
You can, whatever you can do in 2 minutes, you can go do it, take a break, go feed the dog, mow the lawn, whatever it is. We will come back in 2 minutes.
Don't get disconnected, guys. Leave on.
Yeah,
and then
stay on,
just
stay
leave
on.
so we don't
We're
lose
gonna come
anybody.
back to the
Yeah, I paused the
special
recording.
town commission meeting for the budget, okay?
Lisa's in the dark. I mean, I keep seeing the shadow.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Hi, Lisa.
We've been
Hi.
working with
My-
it. Put your hand on it, Lisa, so he can see that you're truly there. We have
Oh, I
to
can
work on-
see.
There she is, there.
A glare issue.
We can't figure out what's happening in her room that she's in
Yeah,
the
what's
dark.
going on?
Mr.
So-
Mayor, I'm gonna have to sign out and call back in from another phone. I'm losing battery power here.
No problem at all. We'll dial you back in a minute, okay?
Thank you.
All right, I'll be back in a moment, folks. I gotta go mow the lawn.
You're fast.
Okay, and we are back. Everyone there, we're waiting on Chauncey. Is Stuart there? Linda is not there. The time is upon us.
I'm here.
Okay, and Chauncey?
Okay.
Chauncey's he's out at the squash court.
The Nerf gun battle has ended. That's what I had to mute. Did you hear them? Oh my God.
What's that?
The kids were chasing each other with Nerf guns. We're fighting.
I love that. Love that. I was on a Zoom meeting, it's been like 2 weeks ago, and as I'm talking, it's a board meeting, and everything was pretty heavy, pretty serious stuff. And about midway through, the two guys that are yelling the loudest start laughing, and I could not for the life of me understand what they were laughing about. And in the background, Bodie was walking back and forth, and he was standing just where you could see his face and looking at the TV, and then he would walk away, and then he'd come back and look at, and they kept laughing every time he would come on. I didn't know he's back there, so.
Where's
Came back on
Buddy?
the-
There he is. Aw.
Little man on the ground, he kept walking away, so.
We have Chauncey?
Not yet. And Jack hasn't come back. Up, here's Jack. He just got it.
All right.
Simone, we're almost done next door.
Woohoo! Do you
You
have
can build a house in 2 years, can't you, Stuart?
I didn't want to say anything, but.
I bit my tongue. It can be
I
done.
can bring it up
All
too. 'Cause
done.
all they have to do is put that AstroTurf. That was going to be my interjection. Just roll.
How'd you like that, huh?
Hey,
Okay, so everybody's back on, or we're clear?
Unbelievable.
I know.
I'm back on, Mr. Mayor.
And
Okay,
Coastal's
so
a
we
good
are clear now. We've got all parties in place, yes. So we will call into session the special town commission meeting Friday, September 18th, 2020 at 5:04 PM. This is the public hearing for the adoption of the millage rate and the budget. This is our first hearing. And with that, I will turn that over to the town manager.
Yes, and there's the criteria that's in the agenda that's the way I have to follow this meeting. So I have to announce that the millage rate is 5.429% higher than the rollback
Really?
rate of 3.0280 necessary to fund the budget. The proposed millage rate is 3.1695. And a summary of the tentative budget, which will specifically outline what the ad valorem taxes are being used for, is fire service, which is one of the largest things that we talked about in the budgets. It increased raises for the staff, continue with the improved police security services, capital purchases. In our budget, the commission requested that I take $175,000 from the unassigned fund balance to balance the budget so we could lower the millage rate from the 3.3 that we were initially looking at. And page 13 of the budget that I sent to you shows our unassigned fund balance analysis. And with taking the 175, we will have a fund balance that represents 60.37% of the expenditures for the next year. So we have, as Ron said, a very healthy fund balance. And those are the main items that the ad valorem revenues are used for. Are there any comments?
Do me a favor, and for the record, and because it is a public meeting, for the record, remind us and everyone else that may be listening in, for the record, the fire increase, it's not just, a good portion of the budget, it's most of the increase. I just want to remind them the exact number.
Okay, hang on, let me get it.
Okay.
Fire rescue increased this year by $274,402. And the basis for that is South Palm Beach assessed property values. We have two options with our fire contract. We can either pay based on the assessed value of South Palm and the MSTU, or it's based on the actual cost to run a facility. And this has always been, in all the years that we've had the contract, this has always been the lesser of the two. So even with the 274, it's substantially less than what the actual cost to run a station is.
$274,000, we have no option on that whatsoever. You have to pay either that or a higher version. That's not something that we budget, it's something that's handed to us.
No, that was the largest portion of what, why we were short with our funding. And also, just to let you know, the state revenues, they were down at the workshop. I told you I hadn't had all my numbers. I didn't get them till the beginning of September, and they were down $35,000. So I have no control over that either. So they were down due to COVID. That's basically, and they don't know, they're projecting next year that they'll be down more than that.
Okay, so our debate today, such as it is, if there is a debate, is do we want to raise the millage rate at all? Do we want to leave it as it was? Do we want to not put monies in? Do we want to put more money in? My suggestion, based on the last couple of months, 2 or 3 months, I think we need to keep our powder dry a little bit because we don't know what's coming. We're going to face the loss of the water clients is coming up. We need to anticipate that.
It doesn't affect your millage rate, though. That's
Doesn't affect the millage. I'm just talking about income.
Okay.
Our income streams. We're looking at our income streams coming to the town and things we are going to have to address. That still has to be paid for somehow. So, I wanted. Go ahead.
Are there extraordinary costs that might pop up if there is some sort of a storm or something, or do we get reimbursed for anything like that? Or is that sort of built into the?
Yeah, we will, but it's just for us, that's the reason we're carrying such a heavy balance. It just takes so long to get money back. We'll have to cover that for 2 or 3 or 4 years. And that's why, we're carrying 3.2 million plus. The one thing that's in the budget, and the thing I will project is, I think we have, tell me, I'm not, without flipping through here, we have like $350,000 budgeted for permits or something like that, 400,000. I think we're way low on that. I think that the property values and what's happening around us right now, it's a white hot market down here. I think it's gonna be more than that, I anticipate, but we can't count on that. So I think we need to budget based on what we know. I think Linda has gone through, I've been through this so many times I can't even see the numbers anymore. She has done such a great job of trimming it down to what we exactly need to have. I think at the end of the year, we're going to end up with another surplus. It's not a bad thing. But what that allows us to do is another year. At the end of the year, if we have a surplus, then we can decide not to do something at the end of the year. This is a minimal increase. And I think it's on the lower, if I read it right, it's on the lower 20% of the increases we've ever had in the history I can see anyway. So it's just a small bump. It's in the hundreds of dollars, even for the super wealthy ocean residents. You like how I did that? Simone smile. So it's I think tell me what your thoughts are. You guys have been through the whole process. You've looked at the numbers. We've got 175 we're putting against it from our reserves. That was the overage from this budget. I think it's prudent to do that because it knocks it down. But beyond that, I think we need
Our pro forma reserves? What are we budgeting as our expected reserves, Mr. Mayor?
3.3.
We don't budget for our reserves.
We don't budget. It's just going to.
Right, no, but what are our anticipated?
What I anticipate for, if this budget is adopted as it is, that our unassigned fund balance will represent 60.37% of the expenditures of $5,563,477. And that balance is $3,358,564.
Has it ever been this high before?
Yes. It's been as high as 68.47, 6701, 6752, 6706.
Nominally, has it ever been $3.4 million before?
No.
It has been, it was 3.5, and then the closest has been 3.2, and then 3.
Okay, so we're basically at all-time highs of our reserve fund in terms of an outright dollar balance. The only thing that I want to express it's not even concern. I think it's worth noting, right, that there have been discussions about wealth taxes at the federal level. To the extent that we are, sitting on a big pile of cash and, something happens that we need to be in discussion with state or, federal authorities, think about what is our ideal amount of cash. And I can hear you, Linda, speaking as a percentage of revenues, but historically, do we want to be at all-time high levels in terms of cash reserves? If that sort of conversation was going on. And I'm not saying it is going to be going on. It's just, I want to think about the what ifs.
It's a percentage of expenditures, not a percentage of revenues. And it isn't the all-time high. The all-time high, it's only one, this year is lower than the high from last. And it's a percentage of
we have 2 or 3 things going. I mean, you got to think about, we also have all-time highs in that we've never not had hypoluxia. With water, we've never not had, we've got big fiscal issues that we're looking at with undergrounding and the potential of sewer and the potential of other things. It's a good time. We've got COVID. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how things are going to open up or not. And we're overlapping on ourselves. I mean, we're in September, guys. October, November is coming up and it's going to be winter again. We may overlap ourselves right over into another version of COVID. So we don't know what's going to happen. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather pay it's a minuscule amount of money in the big picture. It's a 100th of a point. It's a 10th of a point.
Mr. Mayor, I want to make sure that you understand. I'm not pushing back on this. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just throwing it out as a what if and making sure that we've had a fulsome discussion.
Yeah, I think it's very wise to do all of the above, and we need to make sure everything's on the table, so we know exactly what all our options are. I just think we've got a lot in front of us that we need to look around the corner a little bit because we've got some expenses coming up that, you know, we're going to need to go to this spot at some point. And I would rather have more than less to take care of the town if we need to. You know, we've got some, I just think we're going to have the income streams, and you can never predict the future, but my hope and prayer is our income streams are going to be much different in a positive way than we've budgeted. I think we've budgeted in a remarkably conservative way. I think at the end of the year, when we look at what's actually happened, it's going to be much more positive than we budgeted. That's my hope and prayer, because it is a really conservative budget. So I think we're going to end up the year with a good surplus, and I think we'll be able to retract at the end of the year some of the things that we've had to, even as minuscule as this is. You know, my hope would be that next year we get to roll this back a point or something. So. I mean, any thoughts about anything you saw in there that jumped out at you? I mean, the 274 is the big number for me. We can't control it. That's almost everything. That's the entire increase almost. So, and we're throwing 175 at that. So.
The only question I would have as concerns to 274 is whether that measures up to the rate that the citizens of South Palm Beach are paying.
South Palm Beach do not pay through their budget for fire rescue. They pay through an MSTU, they pay through their property taxes. And it's based on each individual resident's assessed value times the MSTU, which is what we are paying on the total town's assessed value times the MSTU. So they are paying the same thing we are.
Yeah.
Okay, you kind of lost me with all of the other, interim math, but if the punchline is they're paying the same thing we are, I'm okay with that.
Right, when I say the MSTU, what that is that similar to our millage rate? The fire rescue, they have their own budget and they come up with what's comparable to our millage rate. It's called an MSTU. And they multiply that times property values. And that's how they generate their income to
okay.
So they are paying the same as us. Yes.
So if you think about it this way, and it's a very simple way of thinking about it. Paying $274,000 to have a fire engine, EMTs, and a location in our town. Now it serves more than our town, but it's here. It's in Manalapan. It's 2 minutes away from anywhere. $274,000 is hardly more than we're paying for the security guards. It's a nice little benefit.
Right.
But it's worth every penny.
But that's only the increase, Mayor. That's not what we paid them.
Okay. What is it, 2 million and change?
Let me get to it and look it up for you to tell you. Oh, I have it here, hang on.
I'm just saying, we're paying $274,000 more.
Fire rescue is $1,520,000.
$1,500,000. Okay, so we've got
$1,500,000 including the 274, or that's what it was last 12 months?
No, $1,500,000 includes the increase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And that's having it in our town, and it's not exclusive to us. Like I said, I've seen them responding all over the place. They come across the bridge I bet they spend more time at Carlisle than they do at our place, but they're right there. And that's a great benefit for the town, phenomenal benefit.
Well, our contract also has a clause that if they leave town for longer than 20 minutes, 20, I think it is 20, they have to send another rig.
Send another rig, yeah.
So that's been built into our contract. So they can leave, but they can't leave for long. Otherwise, someone else has to come over so that we're protected.
Yeah. All right. So what's any comments? Any other thoughts? Do we want to change anything? Do we want to discuss any line items?
I think the only thing that I brought it up the last time is, to my knowledge, and I'm just speaking from where I live up here, there is a reimbursement to a municipal ambulance service, actually, from insurance, the Medicare and things like that pay for
Sure.
a good portion of that. And I just wondered if that is sort of like what we're paying right now is the net after all that other money is figured in.
No, this is the cost to have the service here. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue bills out the individuals directly for any services that they have. So it's not a municipal run fire rescue service. It's the county run. So they're the ones that bill individually.
Okay, so it's not like a better slush fund for them over and above what we're paying.
Oh, it is over the budget.
I can't say
yes.
what their slush fund is. I can tell you that this is what it costs to Manalapan to have
Yeah, no,
Palm Beach County Fire Rescue service us. We don't get any revenue from it.
okay, no, I understand. I just
But
was curious about-
everything they get beyond what they pay, what we pay them, every penny they get goes to the county. It goes to fire rescue.
Okay,
And they're charging it beyond what we're paying. Yes.
okay.
So if you make a phone call and you're going to get a $1,500 bill to get a ride to the hospital. So, and then that goes to insurance, and that brings us to politics. Let's talk about
Yeah,
politics.
let's get off of that. It was just a question, that's all. Sorry, I brought it up.
Let's talk about healthcare.
Let's not.
All right. So we are on number one where we announced the millage rate of 3.1695. We've done a summary of the budget, the purposes. Do we have comments from the public at all?
No comments.
No comments at all?
No.
So the proposal then at 3.1695, and Linda, remind me, what's here, just remind me, that goes up from 3.1695 from,
What our current millage rate is, hang on, 3.0, I have to look it up. I can't tell you off the top of my head now. Because I've been working with too many other numbers. How much of an increase it is? Is that what you want to know from our current?
I just want to know the current number, and I thought this would be like tattooed on a sign on your desk or something.
Do you know how many papers I have on my desk? The current millage rate is 3.0280 for this year. Our proposal is 3.1695, and that's a 4.67% increase of the millage rate.
4.67%.
4.67% increase.
Less than 0.5%.
I think it's still the lowest in the area too, in the county, isn't it?
I haven't seen all the final ones, but if we're not the lowest, we're
It's the lowest.
to the lowest, yeah.
It is the lowest. It is the lowest, and we are we're the highest valued and the lowest valued at the same time, depending on who you talk to. If you talk to Forbes, we're the wealthiest community in America. If you talk to Palm Beach tax assessor, we're 1.3 change, whatever it is.
We had the smallest increase in our assessed value in the county. And when I looked at the tentatives, we were the lowest, but again, everyone's adopting their millage rates in this week and next week. So we'll have a better idea exactly where we are, but we're at near the bottom.
All right, so in the absence then, are we okay with the 3.165?
Yes.
Yeah.
695. All right, so we're going to adopt.
We need a motion.
You need a
Well,
motion?
Yeah.
Well, so, okay, so we'll start there. I'm sorry. Let's stop at 6. Counselor, you're supposed to jump in on these things wherever you are. So we need a motion.
Sorry, I was muted. I apologize.
That's all right.
We need
So
a motion
to adopt the proposed millage rate.
3.1695 for fiscal year 2020, 2021.
Okay,
have a
so I'll
motion.
entertain a motion there.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and a second.
Boom will make a second.
Seconded.
Do you have those, Lisa?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
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 All opposed, like sign. All right, so now we're on 6. We're on the tentative budget of 5.563477 for the general fund, 65,212 for the library fund, 6707957 for the utility fund, a total tentative budget of 12,336,646 for fiscal year 2021. So I need a motion on that.
Make the motion.
So we have a motion and a
I'll
second.
second it.
So we got the second. Chauncey, thank you. All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed, like sign. Okay, so we have a budget. And I'll take 2 seconds before you do your deal, Linda.
Okay.
Everybody doesn't do this, and I just want, I'll take, you'll hear me say this over and over again. Thank you so much for taking time. You got a million things you could be doing, all of them super important things with your life, your family, your business. You take time to do this. Thank you for taking the time to volunteer to be part of the management of this town. It means a lot. It means a lot to have you involved, to have your business acumen, to have your input. So thank you for doing this. And thanks for taking the time to go through all these things and take more than 2 minutes, which we said the whole meeting was going to be. It is, where's my watch? It is not 2 minutes, Linda. I'm blaming it on you now, like you had something to do with it. All right, so what else do we need to do, Counselor, on this?
Need to announce the second budget hearing details.
All right, and those are,
The meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 29th at 5:01.
okay,
And that'll be a virtual meeting as well?
Yes, it will.
Yes.
Okay.
still in September, okay. So is there any other business on the public hearing for the adoption of the millage rate and budget?
No.
Okay, so we are adjourned.
Adjourned.
Okay,
Now we're going to
Thank-
reconvene.
Have a great
quickly, we now are going to reconvene.
Yep.
The Town Commission, Friday, September 18th, 2020 at 5:27. And we are now at the town manager Stumps report.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Code enforcement, our favorite. I want to tell you the complaint cases that have been complied with is 1235 Land's End Road, 110 Churchill, 940 South Ocean Boulevard, and 90 Curlew. The roof has been cleaned at 90 Curlew. We've been fighting with them for quite a while. I have a couple other cases that are now, we're currently working on. 1575 Land's End Road is a vegetation issue. 1750 South Ocean Boulevard is an oversized political sign. The owner's been contacted and he's removing it. 1940 South Ocean Boulevard. There's a
Political sign, was it one side or the other, or
I'm sorry?
was it for one side or the other? Or?
It was for the large sign that was in the rear of the property.
I'm being funny. It was,
I know.
It doesn't matter.
he picked the team.
Okay, stay
Oh,
away
yes,
from political
it does.
signs. Let me finish. All right. 1940 South Ocean, there was vibration complaints while they were doing their tunnel, and Manny was at the property. Vibrations were within the allowable monitoring, so he met with both of the people that complained regarding it. 1675 Land's End Road.
Stay there for 2 seconds on that. How are we still on the same time frame? And them completing the tunnel?
Yes, it's supposed to be done at 7 tonight. It's supposed to be
Yeah, it's
done.
supposed to be done.
Okay, so that, I mean,
It's
nothing
2 hours
changed.
later, nothing has changed, no.
Perfect.
Okay, 1675 Land's End Road, it's vegetation encroachment, and 1705 Land's End is regarding a high hedge, and the two owners are working that out. The owners are one of the owners is out of town, so they've agreed to just wait until the other owner comes back in town. COVID, our favorite topic too. The numbers have stabilized somewhat. Phase 2 is being implemented in stages. Brick and mortar schools are opening on Monday. Some of the private schools, as Simone knows, have already opened. The numbers are going to be closely monitored with phase 2, because if they start to increase, then they're going to cut back on things. There's still no update from the governor, whether he will be continuing virtual meetings. I talked about it in a meeting this morning, and everyone thinks that he'll just wait until 2 or 3 days before the expiration, which is what he's done in the past, to see if he's going to extend it further. There's been a push from a lot of the municipalities. Their council and commission would like to continue with virtual.
There will be at least another month.
I'm hoping so. I hope you have it in there, Mayor. And our lobby will remain closed for right now. We're not opening it. We've been able to conduct business very well with it being closed in the Dropbox and dealing with everyone. The water plant, since we talked about it before with monies that we're losing. The lift station refurbishment is going to be started in the next 2 weeks. The Hypoluxo distribution service area was turned over to Boynton on the 1st of September. There were no problems and no issues whatsoever. They're now providing the Hypoluxo residents water. As far as this settlement for what the distribution's value is, there were 2 appraisals done. They're very different. And by the interlocal agreement that we have, that was initially signed a very long time ago, a 3rd appraiser has to be hired. The 2 appraisers pick that person. He then does an appraisal and then the value is done. We had, before I would turn over anything to Hypoluxo or Boynton Beach, we agreed that Hypoluxo would put $1 million in an escrow account until it settles, because that was closest to one of the high numbers that were valued for the distribution system. So
Well, I want to stop you right there
stop it.
to congratulate you.
Why?
Did a remarkable job negotiating, just so everyone knows. It's one of those little things that happens over at the building with Linda and nobody ever sees it. That was a tough negotiation that you went through. And she got them to agree to put $1 million into escrow. That was a very good negotiation on our behalf. So just kudos for that.
Congratulations.
Thank
No,
you.
you went silent. You muted.
She's still muted.
Linda, you're
I
muted.
said thank you. I didn't realize I hit
Go
my.
ahead, Jay, yeah,
I appreciate it. So my next thing, I have 2 other things. The PBA contract, which you all know, they advised us we were unable to agree on a new contract, and we are at impasse. The PBA and the officers have decided our offer to waive the special magistrate part of the step. They denied that, and they have advised us that they intend to go to the special magistrate first as a part of the whole impasse resolution process. We haven't heard anything more. It'll take several months for the whole process to go through. And then after the magistrate, then it'll come back to you for an impasse hearing. So I'll keep you updated as we find out who the magistrate is going to be and what the process of that is.
Linda, could I ask, Linda?
Yeah.
Question on that. Last meeting we had, there was a discussion about it going into this particular side of the thing. And then we talked about a rather large sum of money that we would be responsible for to pay for this thing. Do we have any idea how this is going to affect us now?
From a financial point of view, we have to pay for half of the magistrate cost, and we have to pay for our attorney's costs. So I don't know at this point. I'll keep you posted as the attorney's working on this, and then what the magistrate costs are. I don't know that yet. So I'll keep you informed on that. And that was one of the things you all wanted to know, how much it was going to cost if we went through the magistrate.
I think, Chauncey, just to clarify, I think you're talking about when we had 2 grievances and we had to pay a huge amount of money, 300 and change.
Oh, I thought he was talking about this
To
time.
defend those things. I think that was in the last conversation. This is not the same kind of money.
Okay, and I thought it was like if they didn't accept the decisions we had made or the offers we had made or the reduction in something we'd made, that we had to lay out more money to go ahead to this magistrate level.
That is true.
We will, but not. I think you're thinking about the cost of the 2 grievances before we went through this process we talked about in the last meeting, and that was several $100,000.
Okay.
Okay. We don't know how much this one will be.
This is just
well, we don't know. We'll have to see how long it takes. So I'll keep you posted on that. We shouldn't talk about this anymore. Our scheduled November.
Can I stop you one more time? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Can you remind everyone, because we all see the police, remind everyone, and counselor, please do the same. You cannot talk to the policeman. We cannot talk to people about any of this. You cannot, you can't say one word to any policeman about anything to do with this. And we have personal relationships with most of the guys around town. We can't talk about it. Can't talk to each other. Can't talk to them.
At this point, it would be an unfair labor practice for you to
Yeah,
try.
thank you, Mayor. That is absolutely correct.
Okay, so don't talk. Next,
No
we have,
talking.
go ahead. I'm sorry,
No talk?
no talking. Next, I want to talk about our commission meetings. Our scheduled November, December meetings fall the week of each holiday in those months. We normally move these meetings so as not to conflict with the holidays. And I want to recommend a possible change for those meetings. The November meeting is scheduled for November 24th. And I'd like to move that to Tuesday, November 17th, which is the week before Thanksgiving.
It's a good idea.
So that's, so we'll need you to, I believe, Keith, they have to make a motion once I get through all of them, right?
Let's have a motion
For each?
for, well, we can do
I'll
it
make
all
a
together
motion.
if everybody's good with all the dates.
Well, let's just do this one first. So we'll move it to November 17th. That's the motion I'm looking
I
for.
make a motion.
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.
Are you, oh, okay, good. Good. All right, the next one is December. Our meeting would have been on December 22nd, and I'm suggesting we move it to Tuesday. Did I say September? I mean December. Move it to December 15th, which is the week before. Are you all
I'll
good?
make the motion.
Okay,
I second it.
okay.
What was that date, Linda? I'm sorry.
It's
The 15th.
December 15th.
15. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
And I just want to remind you, October's meeting is scheduled for October 27th. And we're not changing that. It's just put it on your calendar.
October 27th.
Okay.
I'm hoping it'll be virtual and that will be easier for everyone if you're gone. But right now it's scheduled for that. Okay.
I'm hoping we get back together then.
Okay, well, that would be good. We're ready for you. And at this point, I just want to let you know that we're not planning any library events for the remainder of this calendar year. We hope to start again in January.
Oh,
I know. We'll have a big party in January.
Good.
Okay. All right, I'm done. Unless you have any
All
questions.
right, thank you, thank you. So any public comments beyond this?
No. No
We don't
public
have-
All
comment.
right, any other business we want to introduce? All right, so we go to public hearing. The counselor, you got the consideration of ordinance 373.
I do, and just if you'll indulge me for a moment, Mayor, Linda, just to let you know, on November 17th, right now I have a conflict, but we'll work through it.
Okay, do we need?
We'll work through it.
You have a conflict at that?
Yeah, that morning I have a conflict, but we'll work through it.
Okay, you'll be
Just
able
wanted to
to.
let you know.
All
Yep.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, this is ordinance 373, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Manalapan, Florida, amending Chapter 158 signs by amending regulations for commercial and non-commercial signs within the town to comply with constitutional requirements, revising definitions, exemptions, prohibitions, and design and permitting requirements, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapter 158 shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing a conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify an effective date and for other purposes. This is second reading. There have been no changes to the ordinance since you saw it at first reading.
All right, so we need a motion to approve.
Yes,
Give 'em
sir.
a-
We have the motion and a second. Lisa, you have those?
I do.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, we are on to a consideration of ordinance 375.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 375, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Manalapan, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances at Chapter 32 Administration, Section 3216 through 3219, to revise the role of the Town Zoning Commission by making its review authority optional at the discretion of the Town Commission, and at Chapter 151 Zoning, Section 151 676 amendments to repeal the mandatory requirement for proposed zoning code amendments to be reviewed by the Town Zoning Commission, providing that each and every other section and subsection of Chapter 32 and Chapter 151 shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing a conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify effective date and for other purposes. This is second reading, and there are no changes to the documents since you saw it at first reading.
All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion
second
from,
it.
Simone.
and a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay. All right, we have covered a grand amount
A
of
lot.
information today, and I can't thank you enough. Are there any other comments, any other thoughts? Any surprises anyone wants to announce or?
No.
Sorry.
So.
I'm a new grandfather again. I had grandson number one,
Hey, congratulations.
grandchild number 3.
That's
So-
Very
fabulous.
nice.
Oh,
Very
Okay,
nice.
congratulations.
That's cool. Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, we have, my announcement is, we have, for the first time in 7 months, I've seen my daughter. She's here.
Wow, that's great.
And you sanitized her when she got there.
I actually, no, she's outside. We put her in a tent for a week. So, but she looks good. She looks good. Yeah. She seems healthy. Anyway, it's a great time. And again, I'll go back to it. Thank you, guys. You don't have to do this. And the fact that you volunteer to give your time means a lot. So thank you for everything you do and for supporting the town. And with that, we are adjourned. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Hey, happy Rosh
You too.
Hashanah, Stuart.
Thank you.
Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you
Happy
very
Rosh
much.
Hashanah.
Everybody stay healthy.
Well, send
Okay.
some
Okay.
of the food over here, Stuart.
Yes,
Send some of the good food over here, okay?
Susan's a great cook. I'd love to do that.
Talk
But
to you
you're not
soon.
here.
I know. She was
So it
there.
would be long
Good.
distance. It would be
All
something
right.
for you
When
too.
she comes back, I'll make sure she makes some good, for some of her specialties.
Ooh, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, we're all looking for it now. See? You
Her
have to be
brisket, her brisket is unlike, it's fabulous.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I ask one quick question before you go, Stuart?
Yes, sir.
Is that like is that a statue of your head behind your head?
No, that's a dormer.
Yeah, he's got
Oh, there you go. Do you see it on camera though? It looks
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
so,
statue.
yeah.
When you go
No-
back,
No statues of me, no.
I mean, it looked like I
That's a
thought that was
that's a
cool.
dormer. I'm in my office.
Ah, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, we live in a closet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I
We
do.
all live in a closet, yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Take it
folks.
easy, guys. Be
Take
well.
care.
Take care, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.